Hello, once again, everybody. Welcome to Bobcat Corner. This is officially episode number 2 of a series that I hope to be doing for some time to come. So let's just get right to it. So, on this episode, I want to start reporting on, college football, of course, but in particular, the college football playoff. Now, obviously, if you guys have been paying close attention to the college football playoff, especially in these last 10 years, you would know by now the ins and outs of this system. And some of the aspects of it you guys may appreciate, and other aspects you may be questioning, okay, what's going on here? You guys are not alone if you think that, because I've had a lot of questions on my own accord about this system, this college football playoff system that has been in place for 10 years now. And just recently, uh, it finished its 10th and final year using a 4-team playoff format. We are now going to go into a 12-team playoff format starting this upcoming season, the 2024 season, 2024. And that aspect alone, that is a positive, that is a plus. It's long overdue, depending on who you ask. We should have went to more than 4 teams many years ago, but for some reason behind closed doors, uh, that wasn't the case. But now we are. So, and I want to talk about this because a couple of articles have recently been published online, which I will link to in the description below this video. And first of all, I want to give a shout out to one of the YouTube channels that I regularly watch concerning college football, and that would be Peek Around the Corner, PATC, which is hosted by Greg Flugar, uh, a good guy based in Minnesota. And shout out to him for reading this one article, one of which I will link below underneath this video. And basically, one of the guys reporting about college football and all the twists and turns about it is Ross Dellinger. He regularly posts stuff related to college football, and this one goes into detail about how the 10 conference commissioners plus Jack Swarbrick, the athletic director for Notre Dame. As you know, Notre Dame is independent when it comes to football. And so they all agreed. They reached a vote today, Tuesday, February 20th. They successfully reached a vote, unanimous, 11-0, and it had to be unanimous, or else it wouldn't pass. They passed it 11-0 to change the format of the 12-team playoff from a 6+6 model to a 5+7 model. Now, what that means is that the 6+6, which is now 5+7, now we have in place 5 automatic qualifying bids for conference champions. And in this case, it's going to mean uh, Power 4, Autonomy 4, whatever you want to call it, Power 4 conference champions. That means SEC, Big 10, ACC, and Big 12. And that's at least for now, considering everything going on with conference realignment. And that does not mean that the Pac 12 or Pac 2 at this point has any automatic bids whatsoever. And the 5th automatic bid goes to the best G5 group of 5 conference champion. So there's your 5 automatic bids right there. And the 7 are at large, meaning those teams can come out of any conference. But guys, if you are really following college football right now, you would know where most of those at-large bids are going to go to. A great majority of them are going to go to either the Big Ten or the SEC. And maybe, just maybe, if they're having really good years, it might go to, Big 12, ACC on a really good year, you know, by the off chance that happens. But most of the time, it's going to go Big 10, SEC. Just watch. So they passed the vote on that today, Tuesday. They were set to meet today anyway, via Zoom call online. They were going to meet, so they did. And tomorrow, Wednesday, they're going to meet again in person to discuss other matters such as the broadcasting rights to the college football playoff. And that's a whole other can of worms right there because that, in my opinion, that is going to be a point of contention, not just between conferences, but between fan bases and consumers alike. Because again, if you pay close attention to what's going on in college football, not just on the field, but behind the scenes, you would know that ESPN, let's just say it, ESPN has its hand in so many different cookie jars, so to speak. And they have, unfortunately, they have a lot of leverage. They own, broadcasting rights to the SEC, of course, the ACC, which goes into that whole thing between ACC and Florida State. More on that in a later time. And also the Big 12. So the ESPN, the higher ups at ESPN, they're already having a lot of influence as to what goes on in the college football playoff to begin with. So they have put in a bid, as is the case with all these protocols. ESPN is the incumbent from all the reports that I've been reading and what we've been reading together as college football fans. ESPN is the incumbent. They're supposed to put out the starting bid for this process, and it's up to other networks if they're going to match the bid or they're going to make a better bid, which I'm hoping they do. And that's just goes into a whole different rabbit trail when you're discussing things like that. And another article that I want to bring to your attention, aside from the one that Greg Flugar mentioned, um, well, actually, he brought up both of these articles, to be honest with you. But this one from The Athletic, and again, I'll post this down below in a link. As CFP meetings resume with ESPN TV deal on table, the battle for control of the future rages. And I'm not going to get into this. I'm not going to read all this, but as you can tell, it's getting, very interesting to say the least about how, these conference commissioners are going about their business. They're, they're basically hinting at certain things. And one quote in particular that caught my attention from the Athletic article, and Greg Flugar brought this up, was that ESPN, while there's no deadline being set by ESPN, and I'm paraphrasing here, while there's no deadline being set by ESPN, uh, reports are that ESPN isn't going to wait forever for the conferences to get their act together. Now, take that for what you will when it comes to those words. But how I'm reading this is that there again, ESPN is they're dictating terms. They're, you know, shuffling the cards on the poker table, so to speak. I mean, let's be honest, ESPN, they're the dealer at the poker table. You know, they act like it anyway. And they direct, a lot of the broadcasting, you know, deals for college football. They basically have a monopoly over the sport of college football. I mean, yeah, you'll have NBC broadcasting Notre Dame games, and you'll have CBS broadcasting certain games like Mountain West Conference games, and you know all that other stuff. And Fox Sports, is a solid number two, as we know. But ESPN is really trying to dictate terms at this point, and you can see. if you just read the articles. So for especially 2026, 2027 and beyond, 2026 and 2027 and beyond that, that's like a gold rush kind of period where all the conferences are just going to try to scramble to get the best deal for them, for the sport of college football, and for them separately as conferences. So it's something to pay attention to. And I just find it interesting. One article that I read back on last Friday, where the Mid Atlantic Conference Commissioner John Steinbrecher, he actually allowed one of his emails to be leaked upon request, but he actually allowed it to be leaked about, well, there hasn't been anything official, put out yet. So, and there again, I'll be linking that too, so you guys can read it for yourselves. I just find it interesting how the workings behind the scenes in college football is really setting a precedent for what's going on. It goes well beyond what you see on the field. Um, it's just something to pay attention to because I don't think your average Joe or Jane college football fan really pays attention to the economic side of college football. And that does play a significant role in what goes on with these programs, with these schools. And, despite what people like Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, may say in these articles, and he's an intelligent man, don't get me wrong. He's a smart businessman. He didn't get to become SEC commissioner for no reason. Okay. He got there because he's smart. He knows what he's talking about. But that's also the thing. He knows exactly what he's talking about. When he says certain things in sound bites, when you read certain things that he says in articles, you can't just take it with a grain of salt. You have to really dissect what he says and read between the lines, because if you don't, you're going to be caught by surprise with whatever the SEC ends up doing. Case in point, just look at Oklahoma and Texas joining their conference recently. You know, it was hard for anybody to predict that many years ago, but now here we are. So, as I skim through this article here with the Ross Dellinger article on Yahoo Sports, you know, and many things like it, it just hits home to me, what we're up against as college football fans, what we're up against. And in my position, it's hard for me to put into words because here I am, I'm, located in the middle of, Big Ten country, Big Ten territory. So I shouldn't be, complaining all that much, right? But there's just a lot of things going on that just really strike a nerve with me. And I'm trying to get to something right now. I'm trying to get to a video here, but it just makes me wonder, guys, these $1.3 billion outlay per year that supposedly ESPN would have, even that's a striking, money figure right there. And so I'll be doing my research here as time goes on. I'll be really paying close attention because it's just sometimes I am at a loss for words. The moment you see something, it's like, wow, what just happened? You know, and I think I found the video just now. My apologies for not getting on top of this, but here we go. Here's a comment I made on a video that Greg Flugar made. Great video, by the way. It's titled Episode 372 G5 Schools Trying to Survive. I could even link that in the description below. And here I go, real fast. I'm just going to reiterate what I said, in the comment section of this video. This ties into what I've been discussing for a while. Either the G5 conferences matter or they don't, especially with the college football playoff continuing to expand as it is from 4 to 12 teams. And there are mumblings that it's going to expand again soon within a few years from 12 to 16. At least that's what they want. The fact that G5 conference champions continue to get just one seat at the table is a big indicator. And what I mean by that, guys, is that it's a big indicator of how little everyone else treats the G5. You know, conferences like the MAC, Sun Belt, Conference USA, Mountain West, you know, all these different conferences, guys, it has to give you a pause for concern. I mean, yeah, the G5 is viewed as a farm system via the NIL and other factors, but they're being treated like they don't matter. I mean, that's why I brought it up. Either they matter or they don't. Because for the longest time, um, G5 conferences, they've been treated like they're just so irrelevant. I mean, yeah, I know about the talent gap, guys, but, there comes a point where you have to have common sense kick in and start showing respect for these conferences. Otherwise, why are these other conferences playing football to begin with? Okay. We're trying to tell the viewing audience that, hey, conferences like the Big Ten and the SEC are on the same level, supposedly, as these other conferences like the MAC, you know, Mountain West or Sun Belt. But come on, guys. There's like a huge talent gap. And continuing on with my comment here, the Big Ten and SEC want nothing to do with the G5. And if they wanted to, I believe they would push the G5 out of the college football playoff altogether. And that's what I believe. The divide is so great anyway, and ESPN and the college football playoff committee, selection committee, those people that always get on screen on camera every single week saying, "Oh, we chose our teams." Yeah, right. And ESPN and the college football playoff selection committee will never respect the G5. So, in my honest opinion, and this is just my opinion, I believe the G5 need to break away. All G5 conferences, they need to break away, find their own media partners, and start their own playoff. Should they try to hang on to a spot in the college football playoff as it is now, as it's constructed now? Yeah, of course. But they're going to be forced out of it. And this is the point that I try to make a lot from my position, and so many people just don't pay attention. They just don't pay attention. It's like, yeah, you can negotiate from a position of kindness. We're going to be nice. We're going to play nice with the Big Ten and SEC. But my point is, are you going to get that back? Will the Big Ten and the SEC play nice with you back? Because to be honest with you guys, I don't think they're going to. I think ultimately, when push comes to shove, I don't think they're going to. And I think they will push out the G5 conferences out of this entire equation. So, with that in mind, why wouldn't you set up your own playoff? Set up your own 8-team playoff between the best G5 conference teams and be done with it. I just think that's where we're headed regardless, because I just think the SEC and the Big Ten are going to continue to be power hungry. They're going to keep getting greedy with negotiations, and it's going to reach a boiling point at some point in time. So that's just where I feel this is all headed. So, really, let me know what you guys feel in the comments section below. Um, this is obviously a discussion we're going to be having for a long time to come. So make sure you give this video a like if you like it. Share your thoughts. Please subscribe if you appreciate and respect and approve of what I do. I hope you're having a good day today, guys. Thank you.